Good morning, y'all, and welcome to Connie Creates Life. I'm Connie, and we are going to do my May garden tour. There's been a lot of changes. Just so you know, it's June 2nd. It's been crazy busy. I have a senior, and we've been trying to get through some different graduation activities. They haven't actually graduated yet with all the mess that's going on, but it's been a little bit busy. But I wanted to get one in pretty quick so I could do an end of June garden tour. So the view you're about to see is what I see when I walk out the door. Um, it's what greets me every morning when I come outside with my coffee, and it is an absolutely amazing view. I put my garden where it is so I could just see everything, and it makes my mornings. I'm grumpy in the morning. I don't do mornings. I don't talk to people before I've had coffee. I'm still drinking my coffee, but I'm talking to y'all. It's all good. You're not talking back right now. Anyway, so I walk outside and I see this every morning, and it just brings me so much joy. So let's get started on this garden tour. Y'all, I'm being real honest right now. You can see my dirty window on the back door. Y'all are seeing it all, but I walk up to my door and I see this. Let's go outside. Is that not gorgeous? You can see my sunflowers picking up over the top, my tomatoes, and it's like the sun shining down on it. It's just absolutely gorgeous. But let me give you, y'all ignore my messy porch, but I'm just gonna pan a little bit. And give you just my view from when I walk out the door. And then I can just step over a little bit and turn around and see. Oh, y'all, it's messy over there. It is messy, but that's okay. I've still got a ways to go on this area, but look at my greenhouse, y'all. I already opened up the doors and windows and get some air flowing through there so it's not too hot. I'm loving it. Absolutely loving it. Y'all ignore that little black spot right there. Yeah. I had a little fire in my gas grill. And we haven't cleaned that off yet. So I'm going to grab my coffee and we're going to walk down these stairs to my garden. Now, you're going to see the good, the bad, and the ugly. There's a lot of experimentation going on this year. My yard definitely needs to be mowed, but a lot of experimentation, and you're going to see some death here. These are my yellow crookneck squash. This plant is doing amazingly well. I need to pick, and I also need to weed. But y'all, I don't have any clue what happened to that one. None whatsoever. This is a butternut squash. While we're here, let's go ahead and check to see how close we are. I'm watching for snakes, y'all. Watching for snakes, because, yeah. I killed 3 of them the other day. That one's getting close. This is a zucchini, and it's doing well. I picked a child-sized zucchini off of there the other day. One that I accidentally forgot. And then these 2, I don't know what happened to them either. I have no clue, but they are gone. I don't know, y'all. Don't know what happened. I actually got my very first fruit off of this one, and then it just died. Y'all see my shadow? Sorry, walking around with my coffee. My rosemary plant, I actually purchased this. Let's go over here. This is a new area. I used to have my succulents up here. I just went to my mom's, and she is trying to get situated to move, so I brought some of her plants down. This is a pretty new area right here. I just did this spring. I have some heucheras in here. Those are moonflowers growing up the fence. Lots of sedum, some sweet alyssum that I started from seed and did way too many. Here's an old time plant. That's a yesterday, today, and tomorrow. The flowers start out one color one day. The next day they are a lighter color, and then the next day they are even lighter. Hence the name yesterday, today, and tomorrow. So I think everything's doing okay in here, and I just sprinkled some seed. I just wanted it to fill up. So I just sprinkled a box of seed around here, and let's see what we get. This is a lemon thyme plant. It is spreading fantastically. Okay, this is my zinnia bed, and I'm going to tell y'all, I bought this box of seed from the Dollar Tree, and I just worked up the soil here. I didn't have anything here before except for some pots. Worked up the soil and sprinkled it all over, and y'all look at, oh my goodness, I'm sitting here, look at my flowers, okay? But I'm sitting here trying to figure out what's going on with my dill and with my cucumbers. Do y'all see this? Do you see that? There are 4 of these things on my dill. Look. Okay. I need to take care of this real quick, and I don't know how to do it with one hand. Let me see. Dang it. I'll come back. But my cucumbers, y'all, first year I've done it here, they're dying at the bottom. I don't get it. They're gorgeous at the top, but the bottom is looking horrible. And my cucumbers down below are growing in like a teardrop shape. Let me see if I can get close to this one. What in the world is making them do that? I don't know. I never planted over here. The cucumbers, I never planted them over here. This is the first year doing it. And I'm thinking that this is not set up on drip. They might not be getting enough water. I don't know. That drives me crazy. Let's move on, and I'll come back to that after I finish filming this video. Y'all, it's killing me. Okay. This is my little round herb container. It was clearly out here by itself before the zinnias got huge. Look at those. Is that not gorgeous? I love how they just open up barely and then they get big. I've never grown zinnias before. They start out with like just a few petals, and then they get a few more, and then they end up turning into like this button of flowers. That is absolutely beautiful. Okay, I'm not going to touch too much down in here. I'll move some things out of the way up high because, yeah, I had a copperhead and I touched a snake the other day and it scared me to death. So we're not going to put our hands in too much right now. So in this, I have way too much, y'all. I have purple basil. I have parsley. This is mojito mint. It smells amazing, but it is a bully. I have regular basil, sage, and oregano. And I had a cilantro in here, but it just petered out. Y'all, today's not my day. A bug flew in my coffee. Let me get rid of that. All right, let's move on over. Here's another container. Like I said, this year is the year of experimenting. And I'll explain my little step stool in a minute. This container was over here on the other side where this new garden is. It wasn't getting enough sun. So I'm going to start by getting a drink of coffee because coffee is life, y'all. I'm going to start right here and explain a little bit why I have a step stool in my garden. I am 5'8", so I am not short by any means. But let me pan up a little bit, y'all. Look. This is so exciting to me. Those are my green beans. And look at how they're weighing down my lighting. That's a light string through my garden. They have climbed up the light string, up the cherry tomatoes that are right next to them. And they just keep going and going. So I have to get a step stool to pick my green beans, y'all. Never in my life have I had to do that. But, you know, I'm not complaining. It looks like I missed one. All right, I'm sure I need to pick this morning. I haven't picked yet, but let's get on with this thing. I have several things in my garden that I purchased from the Dollar Tree. The seeds. Because last year and they're from last year. I was starting out filling my beds with soil, trying to do things as cheaply as possible to get some sort of harvest. And I kept what I had left, and I reused them this year, and my beefsteak tomato seeds just did fabulous. I had almost 100% germination on them from last year, and this is one of them. This one was planted very late. I'll show you a couple more later, but this was planted really, really late, and I messed up on trying to single stem them, picking armpits and things, so it's just going how it's going. I started out single stemming, picking armpits, and it just got away from me. There's so many tomatoes in this garden, I didn't have time. Anyway, what I'm trying to tell you is, and I'll show you more on these others, is the seeds from the Dollar Tree, y'all, they grow fabulously. Hence my zinnia patch over there, and my sweetie cherry tomatoes, and my beefsteaks. So this is one beefsteak tomato, and then I've got green beans. I had sugar snaps over there, and they did not produce very well. I'm gonna try them again in the fall because I love sugar snaps. But y'all, I need to pick my green beans. I have gotten so many green beans this year. Last year I had enough for one meal. This year, I'm going to start canning and freezing. This next tomato plant is a Roma. Now, when I bought Roma tomato seeds, I thought they were going to be like the Romas that I purchased at the store. But they are not. I want you to see the size of these. Can we get in there good without getting leaves? They're pretty small. They're kind of like 2 or 3 bite tomatoes. They're not quite cherries, but they're not quite full size. I don't know, but they're very prolific. All of these are the Romas. Now, I've used them. Don't get me wrong. I have used them a lot. I'm seeing more green beans up in there. They're growing up. The stupid tomato plant. Oh, I don't know how I'm going to get them all, but that's okay. I'll figure it out. I'm standing here looking up and up and up and up. That's about 10 feet, maybe more. Yeah, it's crazy. Not complaining. I'll use my step stool. Anyway, very prolific and very tasty. More aromas over here. This next one, I believe, is a honey drop. Okay. Pretty yellow tomatoes. Not the best flavor, I will tell you. Not the best tomato flavor. But they'll do in cooking. I use them a lot in cooking. The next one is a blush cherry. They're going to they have red streaks on them. They're absolutely beautiful, very tasty. And this one is a yellow pear. Very sweet, very tasty, and very prolific, as you can see. This is gorgeous. And I'm stepping back into a tomato plant. That's okay. Here is my walkway. And they have come together in the middle. So yeah, I have to duck. I'm going to go on the front side of this one before I go in the back, and I really want to get you a better picture of this without trying to get too much of the sun in there. If you'll notice, there are two 8-foot 2x2s on each side, and then I've got string holding them up. I had these in tomato cages. They completely outgrew them. Windstorm came through and blew them over. Half of these branches, y'all, are broken. But note that they're still alive. They just were hanging on just a little bit, but they're still alive. You just set them up and they keep on going. It's just absolutely amazing. But they're huge. I mean, I can't go up any higher to trellis them, so whatever happens to the top of them happens to the top of them. So let me go around the back here, and it freaks me out because we're back here in this little hidey hole, and I'm afraid of snakes. So let me take a little peek and make sure we don't have any snakes back here, because yeah. All right, here's the back side. And I showed y'all before that I was putting some herbs back here to see how they would do. I wanted to try my cilantro in different areas. You notice my cilantro was right there. It's gone. It bolted immediately. Having shade on these didn't really do anything for them. So I won't be planting any more back here because they just don't grow. They don't produce very well. The experiment went. It didn't go well, but I learned something. I think maybe next year this entire bed is going to be green beans because y'all. Oh, and I just picked yesterday. Look at that green bean. It was not there. So I'm standing down and tilting up. Yeah, this is the top of my window in my catering kitchen. That actually goes to my office. And they're so tall. So yeah, I climb back here on my step stool and pick. But tomatoes everywhere back here, y'all. I'm loving it. Absolutely loving it. And this is a very shady, very cool area back here. So yeah, and they're actually going through my fence there, which, you know, is not a big deal. I'll just walk around and pick. It is so, what do you call it? They're so stuck in here all together. And I've got some dieback, but most of it is below where I've already picked. So you notice I did come up about a foot on these to give them some airflow, but I still have some dieback. I don't know what it is. It's probably, you know, from being so close together. Like I said, experimentation. But I mean, all of the fruit is above the where they're kind of dying back. So I don't know if that's a natural process or not. I'm not that versed in it. So we will see. Look, y'all, I can't do much more. So this first plant here, this first tomato, I purchased these. I think this might be my black creme. Yeah, I purchased these 4 plants because I wanted some heirlooms and I didn't start them. Sorry about my arm in the deal, but look at that beauty right there. But look at all the dieback here, y'all. Look at all the dieback. That's okay. I've got tons of fruit. And my second one is another yellow pear. It's very, very tall. But if you'll look, that's a yellow pear way over there. That's 2 more tomato plants down from where we started. Okay, I've got to get back here because I just noticed I have another tomato coloring up, and I think this is, I don't know which one this is, Cherokee Purple. And I think this last one is a Brandywine. Yeah, that's Brandywine. But this is a Cherokee Purple. Look at this stem damage. All over, but they're all alive. I cannot wait for this one. I've never eaten a Cherokee Purple, but look how gorgeous that is. I am in love with these tomatoes, y'all. All right, let me see if I can back my way out of here. And I love this. It's nice and shady back here. And it is time for another drink of coffee. All right, I also have peppers in this bed. That's good stuff. I have got banana peppers. I've got, those are California Wonder bell peppers, and tame jalapenos. I love the flavor of jalapenos. I do not like the spice. I know you can tame them for the most part, but yeah. I've got some basil in here. Transplanted a strawberry. I tried it somewhere else. It did not work. This is oregano, y'all. It's gorgeous. Smells really good. Some more sage. There's some thyme in there and some more strawberries that I initially planted in here. And these are purple onion. I planted them in several different areas. These are not doing so hot, but they are starting to bulb up. I don't know if you can see that, but we're going to get something out of them, so that's okay. All right, I have 3 pineapple ground cherries that I actually started from seed and I planted myself, and then I have a couple that have volunteered, because whenever at the end of the season, I take all of my pots and I just dump them in the beds because they have to be filled back up. You see how low those are? That's compaction and decomposition underneath, because I'm doing hugelkultur in here, and they have gone down a lot, especially with all the rain that we've gotten. They have sunk down a lot. So I just take all my pots and I just dump them in there. Well, I've gotten a couple of ground cherries that have volunteered in another bed that I'll show you. I'm not complaining. So pineapple ground cherry here, here, and there. That poor thing. I don't understand what's going on with it. Tried staking it up. Told y'all I was going to show you the good, the bad, and the ugly. That's an ugly, but there's lots of ground cherries. And then I have my basil planter right here, because I started way too much. And, you know, you can always chop it and freeze it, which is what I'm doing. I'm topping it and chopping and freezing. All right, these are my June-bearing strawberries. And I believe in the last video I showed where it was putting off all of these runners, which are new strawberry plants. So I watched a couple of videos, thought I was doing it right. So I chopped them off, planted them, and I killed them. You see all that right there? Those are dead strawberry runners. But that's okay, because it's putting off more. So I'm going to, I've watched a few more videos, figured out what I did wrong, and these runners are going to be my next set of strawberries for next year, including these. Now these are June-bearing strawberries, and it is June. So they have started to flower. I don't know, these leaves are ugly. A couple of flowers in there, and way more runners. So I think I'm going to be okay. They're looking mostly healthy, nice and big. There's 4 plants in here. So that 1, 2, that's 3, and that's 4. So I think they're going to be okay. Let's go back to this one, mainly because my coffee is over here. All right. I have, of course, some marigolds, more strawberries. Those are everbearing. Oregano, thyme, basil, and y'all, I planted this kale plant in September of last year. September. And if you'll look at the stem, you can see all the leaves that we have harvested, and it is delicious. I'm still harvesting, and let's see if you can see down in the middle where it just keeps on going. It's like a never ending, and I love it. That's absolutely fine. So let's see, that's a California Wonder, and it's just now starting to fruit, and a banana pepper over on the other side, and another tame jalapeno. Now I did start regular jalapenos. They didn't germinate very well. I didn't get any. And let's pan up here, y'all. My mammoth sunflowers. They are just gorgeous. Gorgeous. This one, I don't know what happened to it. Don't know, y'all. Okay, same thing is happening over here as the others. This one has had plenty of airflow. It's not together, and there's still die-off on the bottom. So I don't know what's going on. Here's another beefsteak right here. And that it's just a generic beefsteak tomato. not an heirloom, seeds from the Dollar Tree, and it is very much producing tons of fruit. I've already picked a couple. I put my coffee down so I can lift these leaves up. They're not absolutely humongous, all of them. That one is very nice. Oh, I got leaves right in front of the camera. There we go. They're nice size. Nice size. So, more honey drop and blush cherry, and then aroma tomato on the other end. And on this bed, this is aroma, a brown berry. Let's see if we can get down here. They're a darker red, almost brown, but not quite. Cherry tomato. So Roma, brown berry, sweetie cherry, and then another beefsteak. These sweetie cherries, look at how, God, there's so many, y'all. I come out here, this is my first food in the morning, is cherry tomatoes, after I've had my coffee. I come out and eat some cherry tomatoes, and then I'll pick of an evening. So one thing I forgot over here is more purple onion that are not doing very well at all. They're in the shade of this kale plant, so they're not doing very well. Okay, this is my other beefsteak. This one is gorgeous. Look at those, coloring up really nicely. Okay, mistake number 5,000 for this year. I planted, here's more sunflowers. They're not flowering yet. I planted 2 tomatillos. Y'all, nobody ever told me. They didn't tell me. Oh, they're huge. Oh my goodness. And they're just huge. And I don't know if you're supposed to do this or not, but I like coming in here and touching them and seeing how big these tomatillos are in here. Never grown them. I'm doing a lot of stuff I've never done this year, but that's okay. Had to tie them all up. Not a problem. Not a problem at all. Say that now, but I was fussing. I was actually cussing. I'm not going to do that on here. But yeah, y'all, it's craziness. Crazy how these grow. This is one plant here and one plant here. And they are everywhere. It is, whoa, they're huge. Okay, so what else do I have in here? I like coming and touching these, y'all. It's probably not good for them, but oh well. More marigolds. Pepperoncini back there, it is producing. Let's see. I believe that may be another pepperoncini as well. And then I have a couple of purple bell peppers. Strawberries in here. And then red onion. I've already harvested one and used it for dinner the other night. They're not that big. It could have used a lot more growing time, but hey, I wanted to eat it. So there you go. I planted some petunias here. I finally figured out what they are. I sprinkled some seed and the sun bleached out my plant tag. Didn't know what it was until they started blooming. They are petunias. And they're pretty. And here are my volunteer ground cherries. I haven't gotten any mature fruit off of them, but there's 2 of them in there. And that's okay. All right, let's pan around a little bit. My porch, that's my pineapple, y'all. In 2 years, I'm going to get 1 pineapple off of it, and then I'm going to start all over again. But hey, I just wanted to see if I could do it. Okay, my husband said that he could not grow ever. He's lived on this property for longer than I have. He was not ever able to grow okra. He can't eat okra anymore because he's got diverticulitis, and the seeds are not really good for that. But I'm like, let me see. I killed one of them. I didn't kill one of them. They got eaten by some bugs, but they are finally growing. I have 3 of them here. And then some Japanese eggplant. Let me see if I can get down in here. I have a couple of these. I want to see if you can see. They are long and skinny. I didn't realize what I was buying when I purchased the seeds, but that's okay. They're very tasty. See how pretty? But they get really long. So we're gonna let them go. And as you can see, this is one butternut squash plant, y'all. It starts at this end of the bed and goes all the way to the other end, and it's about 20 feet long. One butternut squash plant. It's a garden bully too. I need to actually, if I grow these again next year, just trellis them. It's not a big deal. There is another eggplant right here, and actually I have a banana pepper stuck in there. You can't really see it very well because of the butternut. But there's an eggplant right here. And this is another of my beefsteak tomatoes. It was planted very late. But y'all, fruit everywhere. Okay, these are lantana that I purchased and planted. I've always wanted lantana, never bought them. And these, y'all, are my tomato. I keep saying tomato because I have so many of them. These are my potatoes. I had some potatoes start growing eyes, so I decided to cut them up and plant them in my black grow bags. And I think they're doing okay. I really, really do. I don't know when they're going to be ready. I think after they flower and die back, they're still putting on new growth on the leaves, so I think we're doing pretty well. Let me stand right here and pan because look, y'all, I love my greenhouse. Absolutely love it. Okay, back to garden. So I planted, these were all my extras. This planter used to be in the front where the new bed is because I had succulents in it. Succulents only need about 6 inches of soil. So I had a piece of plywood holding that soil up, and it collapsed. So I had to replant all my succulents in another area and decided to move these back here for my extra plants. I actually had them potted in small pots, all sitting over there in front of my greenhouse, and they were doing really well there, which is awesome, but I wanted them in a raised bed. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4 pepperoncinis here. Oh, I see something growing that does not belong. I don't want to touch it. What is that, y'all? It is coming up the back fence. This is cow pasture, not mine. There's cows back there, and there's an electric fence right there to keep them from coming up on our fence line. But I need to get back there. I don't know what that is, but it needs to leave. Yeah, because it's coming up on my plants. All right. So these are pepperoncinis. First year growing those. They're doing very well. I have tons of them. Oh, sorry, y'all. This is irritating. Get off my plants. Pepperoncinis are doing really well. I love the pepperoncinis in the salad at Olive Garden. So that's what I'm going to try and do with those. A couple more tame jalapenos. A banana. Now these are all extras. I could not get rid of these plants, y'all. I grew them from seed. They were my babies. I had to put them somewhere. And California Wonder bell peppers. And these are asparagus beans. Never grown those, never eaten them, don't know what to do with them, but I planted them. And then interspersed back here, I just did this about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. Put in some sunflowers. I got some sunflower seeds. All different colors and heights, and I just interspersed them in between these because I wanted to get some color back here. And it looks like they've all come up. This one also, they're just missing, they need more sun, and there's another one down there. And in the front, you know, I can't leave anything alone. I started some nasturtium seeds, and only a couple have come up. Like 3 in this bed, 4. I planted them all along the front of this 8-foot bed. Y'all look at my super petunias. Aren't they gorgeous? I don't know if you can see with all the sun. Let me shade it. Look at the color. And I have another set right here. Those are beautiful. All right, same thing over here. Asparagus beans. I planted nasturtiums in the front. These are some new things that I've got to get in the ground before they die. These are salvia, and they were mid-bloom, and I think I'm gonna mess up my bloom time. Drink of coffee. All right, extra tomato plants with sunflowers interspersed in between them. They're not very large, but we're gonna see how big they get. And I was really dumb planting this here, y'all. This is my ground cherry. It was the last one I had. And I planted it right next to the dadgum eggplant. Y'all, they were really small when I planted them, and I wasn't thinking. So, yeah. And I was looking in here, and I've got a couple of eggplants going. Love it. Oh, there's a big one. Oh, wow. Hang on, y'all. That one's very long. Let me hold it up. Can you see that? That's very long. That one needs to come off. So I'll be harvesting that later on. And this is my very first butternut squash. This one is the closest to being ripe. It's really short and squatty, but I don't care. It's all good. And here are some of the strawberry starts. I bought these little things at the 99-cent only store and thought I can make a strawberry tower. Yeah, no, not so much. And then I got a wild hair. Put my what are these? Super Bells? Honeyberry. So pretty. So pretty. And some more thyme. So I'm like, oh, they're not growing. So I had some marigold seed heads that were dried. I'm like, let me see. I pulled them off. And look, got some marigolds going in there. We are not going to show you the big inside of my greenhouse, but I am going to peek in here and show you these. These are starfruit seedlings. I tried starfruit for the first time. I enjoyed it. It wasn't amazing, but I was at that point where I was like, let me see if I can grow something. Every single one of the seeds that I saved grew. Now, when it's not in full sun, these will open and spread out, and they are just so cute. I don't know what I'm going to do with them. It's going to take a couple of years for them to come to maturity, but that's about it. All right, y'all. I think I am going to walk you around the front and show you the new area where my succulents are, and then we'll end this video because I need to go make some cookies. I hate it that my squash and zucchini up here, I've only got 2 stands left. All right, I'm gonna call this Snake Alley. Y'all, I was scared. I was scared. 2 snakes in one day. 3 snakes in a week. So I pulled out all the mulch. It was mulched. I had to take it out because it was killing my plants. It was killing my succulents. They were getting waterlogged. It was holding too much water. It was doing what it was supposed to do. I just didn't think it through. So now we just have bare dirt, and with all the rain we just had, everything is dirty. Took some of my birthday money and bought some larger boulders. It's nice and shady up here. It feels really nice after being in the sun. Bought some larger boulders, larger flat rocks, and put them in there. And I just need to go back and I'm getting what's called septic rock. It's a light colored rock. Similar, it's not as white as these rocks. And it might have a tinge of gray and a tinge of brown. It's multicolored, but they're really light colors. So I wanted to make my succulents, since they're all different colors of green and blue, I wanted to make them pop. So that's what I'm going with. Hopefully they'll do a lot better. And this, oh gosh, I forgot what it's called. Anyway, it's absolutely beautiful. That's what we're going to call it, the pretty plant that I just bought and potted. And, oh, the storms. I have limbs everywhere, y'all. Everywhere. And here's the other side. This is where I found my first snake. And then I stopped. And I said I'm not doing it until I have a snake watcher. And I had a snake watcher. And he left to go in the house to get a drink. And I found a copperhead. and he left to go mow his mom and dad's yard, and I touched another snake. Y'all, it's just not been fun. I'm not going to do anything in ground on my hands and knees anymore unless I have somebody here. Okay, there you go. That is my May garden tour that actually happened in June, but you know, it was only a couple days ago. It's all good. Anyway, y'all have a great one, and I will see you again at the end of June for my June garden tour, and hopefully in between with some cookie videos. Y'all have a good day, and we'll see you again soon.